Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at a leveling guide for your Necramech. Now you may have known already that the Thermia Fractures was the best way to level your mech in the recent couple of days, but that event is now gone and you can no longer use it. So how are we going to level our mechs now, since the only other way was with the isolation vaults, and we all know how slow that method was. As a disclaimer, you do need an Affinity Booster to do this method, or else you will not level up fast enough for this to work. The standard comp that we're going to be using for this run is 4 Trinities, but you can honestly run anything else. It's just better to have 4 Trinities so that you can keep your own mech alive and you don't have to rely on anybody else. Now your options for your aura is either going to be corrosive projection or shield disruption. Just make sure that everybody is running the same aura because you won't get that much out of it if some people are running one or the other. You want your weapon loadout to be good enough to take out Profit Taker shields, so make sure you can cover as many of the 13 elements as you can. If you already have an Orb Hunt loadout for your weapons, feel free to use that here since it will be more than enough. We are only going to be cycling the first shield stage and the legs. Make sure you agree on who's taking out the legs, since you don't want people accidentally spraying the body afterwards, as we don't want to move past phase 1 of the fight. You want to mod your Archgun for Toxin and Magnetic if possible. Pure Magnetic still works fine as well, but it isn't really that useful if your team is stacking shield disruption, so Toxin should be taking a higher priority. I just couldn't really fit it on my build that well here. Honestly, any well-formed Archwing gun will work for this, so just take your favorite one. We're going to be using our Archguns for killing mobs for EXP, so obviously any classic picks such as Imperator Vandal or Fluctus will work really well for this mobbing phase. The new Moslon also works really well. I don't know if they patched Ianga's small magazine size problem yet, so I can't recommend it, as having to wait for ammo regen that often can really hurt your EXP gain. Other possible squad comps you can run for this is 1 Mesa or 3 Trinities, or even 1 Chroma and 3 Trinities. The only real reason why you'd swap a role like this is so that you can down Profit Taker's first shield rotation faster, or a way to kill the mobs faster at the start when nobody else has their Exalted weapons unlocked yet. Whatever you choose, just remember that bringing your own Trinity lets you heal your own Necramech on demand. All 4 players should have Dispensary infused on your frame of choice so that you can fuel your Necramech's energy for the leveling process. This will be used both for making sure you always are able to cast your 2 when you're waiting for your levels to unlock your Exalted weapon, as well as fueling your Exalted when it unlocks in case you run out of energy. You should be casting your Dispensary and squatting on it once you're using your Exalted, and your kills per minute should be high enough to level you up without ever having to come out of your 4. The only things that might cause that to happen are being nullified by the orange pulse from one of the Scrambuses, or if your health drops too low and you need to transfer out to bless yourself. Make sure to keep an eye on your HP because you will have to uncast your 4 transference out and bless to heal yourself. This can take a full 1-2 seconds to do, so don't let your HP get too low. If you do need to come out of your 4 to pick up energy, just uncast it, take 1 step forward and pick up all the energy orbs under you from your Dispensary and switch back into your Exalted to continue leveling. Once you hit level 30 with bonus, you can just extract the mission. You don't have to kill Profit Taker, but make sure you get your mech destroyed first, as this is still the only way to guarantee that the EXP is quote-unquote saved upon your extract. If it's destroyed earlier than this, you can always call down a new one, as long as 3 minutes have passed since its last deployment. But make sure to bless it before you get in, because they are still bugged to spawn with only 1500 HP after the first deploy in the mission. If you die completely, you will lose all of the EXP on your mech, so make sure to keep yourself alive. That is why the Trinity build is strongly recommended, so that you can stack your bless as well as your survivability and keep yourself topped up on health whenever you need. This strategy also works in a 2-man and 3-man comp. You just have less people in the squad and less spawns. In a 2-man run, you can level your Necramechs at the same time, but it's going to be noticeably slower due to the reduced amount of enemies present. Alternatively, you can run a 2-man comp of 1 Mesa and 1 Trinity if you're just planning to carry level your Trinity teammate. The Trinity should be hosting, and the main goal of the Mesa here is just to spam down and kill all the enemies as fast as possible while the Trinity is in their mech spraying things with their Archgun. This is the strategy that I used in this video. Once the Trinity reaches level 10, the client Mesa should abort and swap to their own Trinity and force join back on the host. You will then want to let the Necramech player kill everything with their Exalted weapon because that will grant all affinity to their mech. The client Trinity's job at this point is only to bless the mech as needed. You don't want them to be killing anything else, except maybe looking out for if a Scrambus spawns too close to the Necramech, because you really don't want your teammates being pulled out of their fore and being nullified. Make sure to keep an eye on their HP, and don't let them down. If everything goes well, you should be able to max out your Necramech in 10 to 15 minutes. After that, you just head back to Fortuna and rinse and repeat. The rest of this video is just the fight itself. Feel free to skip ahead using the timestamps in the description. That's all for this video, and thank you all for watching. See you all next time.